Hello. We are back. Back to actual play. Back with Agon, Ancient Greece, action, adventure, romance.
Possibly. For
uh,
some.
It's always on the table when Adrastos is there. So
Dedicated to Artemis. Gross.
Just saying that when I ran the session last time up at Geek Girl Con, everything fell into place when I was like, who is having sex with who? Like that, everything made total sense once I figured that out. Like the
True.
whole island wrote itself at that point.
Yeah, in a certain group. That will be the most important question.
Right.
Depending on who your game group is. But we'll see. You never. I mean, we've got interludes to do, right? So
You've got interludes.
yeah,
that's.
we need an interlude.
Yeah. And since it's been some interludes since we've played, we should probably announce ourselves, say who we are.
We should probably.
Catching this for the first time. I'm Sean. I use he, him pronouns. I'll be GMing tonight. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the heroes do during their interludes with all of the Islanders and their appreciation, as well as what they decide to do after that. Because that's a big question in my mind. I don't think it's really a question, but maybe it's a question. So, how about you, Natu? What's up with you?
I am Nadja Otikor, aka Trista aka Clever-Eyed Hogne, daughter of Hades, follower of Artemis. I want exactly 0 fuck. And I would like to kill harpies forevermore. John, who are you?
I am John Harper. I'm also Adrastos, swift-footed so far. Swift-footed Adrastos. Probably getting a new epithet one of these days. I'm also on board with killing harpies. We didn't quite eradicate harpies the way we meant to. Yeah.
We did not. No.
It could still happen, though, potentially.
It could happen.
Maybe. Yeah.
Sure. Well, anything's possible if you believe.
I believe. So
Mhm.
I think it's possible. Karen, who are
Yes. Hello. I'm Karen Twelves. I am playing war leader Marika, daughter of Zeus and follower of Hera, who really was not able to connect her sword with harpies much last session, which was disappointing.
Yeah, there were some pretty awesome aerial moments. Flying swords coming out, but those harpies were quick. Winds were not in your favor, as it were.
I mean,
Cool.
someone rolled a 21, but
someone met that 21.
It was
so
it still wasn't
It
enough.
was a couple of 21s.
Yeah,
that's true.
In fact, rules change.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah.
John and I talked about it, and we realized that the number of instances where the PCs wouldn't be the aggressors and that they would be a tie were so low that it's not worth the confusion of having that conversation. So now the number I meet is just the target number. If you match it, the PCs win. Essentially, the PCs win on ties. Yeah. Rather than having that conversation, because 99% of the time it's going to result in the PCs win. So why go through all the discussion? But and maybe we'll make like a monster special ability that they win on ties, so that some creatures will, but that'll be its own special thing.
Yeah,
cowboy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a little more familiar, like as a target number. Like other games work that way. So get your target number, and that's you roll that, then you succeed. So.
Yeah. One other change, actually, I think we made right after the game which is that if players don't elect to maneuver or defend, then the monsters or the NPCs, whoever they're fighting, will immediately get that like as a freebie for them, unless the monster has again a special ability. I think we're going to call it Titan, and they can essentially, the monster gets to do everything, and the players have to defend all 3 bases. Because right now, as 3 characters, you kind of either had to do everything, like spread yourself up, or you're just giving something away to them. And we kind of adjudicated that way anyway in the battle, but now it's official. Now it's like, well, it's legit. If you don't decide to outmaneuver the Harpies, they won't outmaneuver you unless they happen to have a special ability that says they can. So,
like flying?
Perhaps.
I mean, yes.
Like flying, yes.
But
standard monsters, though, they don't just win everything automatically. If we don't contest them, we have to actually lose the roll for them to get that benefit.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So a few little fun things, mostly lending themselves in the favor of the heroes. Yeah. So let's do this interlude thing.
Yeah.
Which is on the character sheets, because John is an amazing graphic designer and he takes 20,000 words of game text and fits it into a 2-page character sheet. Or thinking about the other way, as Adam Koval said it, you make a 2-page character sheet and then that spawns 20,000 words.
I think that's the way it generally goes, yeah.
But
so Sean, what is an interlude? What is this thing that we're doing?
So an interlude is the moment when we see the heroes take respite, and it's their opportunity to recover from their trials, and it's also their opportunity to dedicate themselves to one of the gods, and to sort of revisit that that camaraderie that comes from competition. So the way that they're going to recover is by challenging one another, very similarly to the way they sort of challenged each other on the in the achievements. And so we'll see them pit themselves against each other, and so there might be wrestling matches or singing matches and whatnot. And in doing so, we'll be reinvigorated. So our heroes don't recover by laying in a sick bed; they recover by being amazing, awesome heroes in front of one another. And there will be 3 phases. The day phase, in which case a friendly contest will be initiated. The evening phase, in which the heroes can they can tend to one another's wounds, and the morning phase, in which case you can lead a sacrifice to a god, a single god. And at the end of the interlude, the heroes are sort of ready for adventure and ready to go fight again. However, time passes, and so there's also a mechanic called strife, which is that the island sort of becomes more troubled as the heroes rest, and when they return to the adventure, the island has more problems, and that's reflected by the strife die going up a size. So instead of rolling d6 for everything, I'll start rolling d6 for everything, plus whatever additions. So the island kind of responds. Hey, that's just more glory for you.
I have a question. So your strife die goes up, but your divine glory is still lower.
So divine favor is reset at the end of the interlude. And I don't know, this is a really good question, Anja. I don't know if we said that the island's divine glory is reset as well or not.
Divine favor, yeah. Because we exhausted a lot of it, and I was under the impression that it was just gone. But if it's not,
yeah, you'll get all of yours back for sure.
Yeah, I'm speaking about your pool specifically.
Yeah,
I don't think this is in the text. The intention is that NPCs get theirs back, so the Harpies would get their 3 back. Mm-hmm. And the island, the adventure pool, the mega pool, does not reset. It's
okay.
Fixed. I don't think that's in the text, but right, yeah. So if you're keeping track at home, I've used 3 of the island's 7 and all of the Harpies. So the Harpies will recover. The island will still be depleted.
Okay. So like a tactic would be to blow through NPC divine favor and try to erode the island a bit.
Which you did, yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Just
absolutely. I used up all the Harpy Divine Favor, and then I was like, I still want more, so I dipped into the island.
And not all NPCs have divine favor. Special NPCs that are actually like blessed or connected to the gods, like the harpies, have divine favor. But usually NPCs just draw from the general pool. So
right. So I think when Ionestes was rolling against you, he doesn't have his own divine favor pool. So when I think I exploded a die or something like that, I did pull from the islands pool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Where the harpies are like probably the toughest monster in the current set of islands, I think. They're really nasty. So we're getting to maybe not the toughest.
And pirates are pretty darn dangerous.
Tessakyra is also really tough, who we also have to face in this island. So.
But Ringgit, Tessakyra.
All right.
That's right.
So without any more ado, let's have an interlude. The interlude takes, so the first phase of the interlude is the day phase, and I'm going to kind of paint the picture just briefly. The island, everybody in the island, as much as they could be, had been funneled into the mines, which was sort of the one area that they would be protected from the harpies. The houses can be torn apart and sundered. The mines are considered safe. And so after the harpies retreat with their sister in tow, and she's been horribly wounded, and they sort of disappear off into the fog. It seems like they're flying until again they're just gone. You never see a moment of them disappearing, but then people's heads start poking out, and we see a few inhabitants of the island of various ages, including your sailors, who for the most part were diving under deck and trying to fight them off, but they were. Yeah,
hopefully they know better. Yeah, they should hide. We should have a ship policy, I think.
The first ship policy.
Do not fight harpies. We'll take care of that.
Right. There's a few parts of the deck of your ship that are all raked by talon claws, where they sort of barely missed one of the sailors, and one of your crew is gone. He'll be missed, but his name won't be remembered. And
that's how it goes.
Yeah, he's not a hero. So they start coming out, and during this day phase, they are watching you and thanking you and bringing you a feast, and calling you their heroes. Because not just heroes in general, you're definitely that, but you are the heroes of Cryos for saving them.
I think Defender of Cryos is
Defender of Cryos, yeah,
the great deed that we earned.
Awesome. So I'm going to interrupt this a couple times with a few individual items, but let's start with the day phase.
All right.
So which is the hero with the least glory right now?
I have 22.
I have 49.
I'm at 34.
God damn it.
I did get 21 in that one.
We know.
You get to choose a domain, and all heroes must compete in a friendly contest for glory. So it's just like achievements. You'll pick a domain, and you can pick a challenge if you want to describe it, or you can leave it to me to pick a challenge. Either one is totally fine.
I do have a quick question, just from our understanding of the fiction and how that relates mechanically. So when we last left off, I was stuck on a spear. Am I just fine now?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we sort of narrated a little bit past that.
Yeah, Marika, I think, pulled me off of the spear, but
right. Yeah,
I might have a hole in my sternum, and usually that's a problem, but maybe it's not a problem anymore.
I mean, you're a damn Greek hero, so yes, you have bandages and whatnot. Okay. It's not like the wound just magically went away, but it's also not enough to stop you necessarily.
Okay, so I'm basically fine.
You have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods, so you have the pathos. You have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affiliated with the Greek gods. So you have the pathos affili I believe you reached agony in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was describing you having a moment of agony. But that's it. I mean,
Okay.
if you keep pushing yourself, you will get closer and closer to your end. So theoretically, your end is on the horizon, but
Okay, just wanted to check in.
Yeah. The way I think of that is like we're all like really banged up and clawed and bloody and wounded, and we've like bound a rag around a wound or whatever. And then Marika is like, "Hey, everybody, I'm challenging you to a test of glory." And we all are like, "Okay, I can do it. Yep. No, I'm fine. I'm fine."
Who wants to wrestle?
Yeah.
We're totally not fine, but we're just gonna pretend like we're fine.
You're totally. It's a friendly contest, and so one of the cool things about the interlude is that you get all the benefits of a normal challenge. You get glory, and in fact, you get additional benefits, and you have no downsides. Again, except for at the end of it, the strife goes up. But
right. So during an interlude, like if you would take fate or pathos or whatever, like you normally would, we're like immune to that right now during the interlude.
Okay.
So we won't suffer anything.
You can't get hurt during these friendly competitions. Yeah. So I'm going to actually pull up the text because it's a little bit more in depth. Yeah. So Karen, will you pick a domain that you'd like to have a contest in? And if you
Blood
have
and valor.
Awesome. What do you have anything in mind?
I mean, I'm kind of thinking wrestling.
Wrestling is a classic.
Yeah.
You got a whole beach. I mean, that beach is super unwrestled on. Right? Like, it's just screaming for some wrestling.
Like Adrastos had done such a great job, like grappling these harpies, and Marika is excited. So she's like, "Come on, let's wrestle."
Awesome. And is this okay?
Show me what you got.
Is this okay for everyone to compete? Like whoever the island participants, because then that way they sort of feel bonded to you as well. Like they'll for sure be beaten by you, but that's okay. That means they get to. That means they get to feel part of this.
That's an important question, though. Are we like, no, we're heroes, step off, or are we like, yeah, let's come on?
I mean, I leave it to Marika, right? She's choosing right now.
Sure, yeah.
I would say that several of them definitely want to engage. Like, cool. All right. So I'm gonna roll, and that'll be your target number. And this roll is you'll ultimately probably be competing with one another, but of note, the people that are involved in this wrestling match include a few of your sailors, a few of the islanders, and Ionestes. He strips down to his loincloth, and though he does not have a wrestler's body, endeavors to rub oil and rub and tackle.
Yes, Allison. The steps of the Acropolis. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're doing.
Roll. Let me see if I can remember this. 2d6. A1. All right. That didn't work. I rolled a 2.
Ionestes is not much of a challenge for us.
No,
it would seem
not much of a challenge. Yeah.
Oh, Ionestes.
Cool. So everybody can compete, and whoever wins will get the glory, and every hero who competes will remove 3 marks of hubris at the end of it.
Nice.
It doesn't cost anything to tie in a strength, but if you win, you get hubris. Is that
normally interlude? You won't. So you're totally free to use your strengths. Okay.
Cool.
You're also not fighting over a huge glory pool, but
Okay, just want to make sure I understand the stakes again. I literally just played this and still.
No, that's totally fine. The way I think of it is like the way I keep it in my mind is like, yeah, if you win, you mark hubris, but like the interlude is like it protects you from that. Instead of saying like, I don't know, for some reason in my head it makes more sense to think of taking it and then blocking it instead of saying like, oh, you don't take it in this circumstance.
Got it.
I don't know why.
I think it was something like, if you would gain hubris, you insert fancy text for saying you don't actually.
You don't. Yeah.
My brain is going to write it as always go ham in the interlude.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Cool.
All right. Do you want to roll then?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Cool.
I will be rolling my name at D6, my blood and valor at D6, and my newly won ferocity at D8.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hogne is big mad.
So
Yeah.
this is, are you being ferocious against us? Like wrestling us fiercely? Ferociously?
Yeah. I think Hogne is, she has some lingering frustration about not killing harpies. And Marika is like, hey, let's wrestle. And she's like, great. I'd love to like fuck something up. That'd be awesome.
Well, and I particularly love the fact that like she actually has the worst wound. Like Marika was pretty banged up on those rocks, and I think Adrastos was not like clawed, but his shield was all banged, and you know he got a ruckus. So, but like Hogne has the real wound, and so I like that she's being super ferocious, even though she's got this hole in her chest. Yeah.
Cool. Let's
All right.
see how I do. Better than a 2.
Better than a 2.
Much.
All right. All right. John, you want to describe Adrastos? So you certainly defeat all of the contenders, all of the islanders and the sailors and INSTs, if you even deign to wrestle him. I mean, we see you throw them down, and
yeah,
and like they hit the sand, and there's a cheer from the crowd.
So Adrastos is trying to play up the Defender of Cryos angle, and overcompensating a little bit because Hogne is like really going super ham and maybe even like injuring people a little bit in her ferocity. Maybe.
I feel like
maybe they didn't have to wrestle me.
Exactly, it's their choice. So Adrastos is kind of going the other way, and I'm throwing in my daring, where he's like, it's like Name That Tune. He's like, I can beat 4 of your best men. I can beat 5 of your best men. He's like throwing out all these crazy boasts.
Yeah.
Until it's reaching a point where they can like all swamp him, and like it's like he's trying to make it fun instead of like really like showing off. He's like, come on, 6 more of you, and until they drag him down, you know. But he might actually do it. So he's like he is being daring and trying to actually do a cool feat of wrestling, but we'll see. 4.
All right. Cool. So we're currently tied.
Yep.
And Marika.
Cool. I'm gonna roll my name die and blood and valor and daring as well. I think Marika is very much doing a anything you can do, I can do better with Adrastos, and so whatever Adrastos is saying, Marika is matching.
Yeah. Question: does Marika take off her armor for this? She has this big, dark, battered armor. Does she wear that? When she wrestles?
Yeah. I mean,
typically you would take it off, but if it's her signature item,
no. I mean, one does not wrestle in armor.
One does not.
All right. 7.
Yep. That's about right.
Apparently one does wrestle well, not in armor. So So Marika takes, unfortunately, a small bounty of 2 glory.
Want.
Yep. Everyone else takes 1 glory because you're all winners here.
I like the image of Marika and Adrastos having like this really fun competition in the foreground, and then the background Hogne is just like
chucking dudes. I think
slam someone's head into a rock. We're like, whoa.
That's kind of like, because it's like I imagine like this rocky beach, and like a couple people like hit it kind of hard. Yeah. So normally Marika would take hubris for this, but in the moment, because it's playful and it's jest and it's friendly, you're not challenging the gods, you're challenging each other. You're not you don't suffer hubris, and instead you feel more content. Everybody removes 3 marks of hubris
Yay.
from their
All
sheet.
Everyone?
right.
Everyone.
All of
everyone
us
who
do.
everyone who competed. So if you didn't compete, you don't. There's no reason not to compete.
So, chat, I'm showing you my character sheet so you can see here. I have my name die, my craft and reason, and my daring marked on the little hubris diamonds. So I only have 3 things marked. So I'm going to clear all 3 of those.
Awesome. Yay. So the day is spent like this. And during the fight, when the peacock was being chased about by the harpies, it shed a single feather.
Ooh, magic feather.
Mm-hmm.
And it appears after being defeated. INSDs appears. He's totally, any of you that he faced in a match, he's covered in sand and he's all beat up. But he has taken like from his belt. His belt was made like of a braided leather thong, and he's taken like a single leather strand out of it, and he's sort of wrapped the feather and made it like a tassel that you could tie on to, say, a belt or a loincloth or a helmet or something like that. And he presents it to Adrastos as a thanks for all that he has done. And he leaves it very ambiguous as to what all he has done. But he
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't know if Adrastos wrestles him or not. But if so, it would be after the match, like after he's been beaten and bested. He returns and he presents him this gift.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah, and I think actually, let me expand that a tiny bit. For all that you have done and all that he is sure you will do.
Sure. Okay. I get the message. I think.
He's hopeful.
Perhaps.
He's hopeful. He wants to get down with the Adrastos.
Okay. I'm gonna write that down as a trophy.
Sure.
A gift of a feather from Hera's peacock.
Yep.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, that makes my evening interlude segment really easy.
Yeah. All right. So now the day passes and we move into the night, and more food is brought out and wine, and everyone is tended to. So each wounded hero, which I think is all of you, chooses a healer and gives them an oath. The healer will make a contest versus the Pathos. And so I'll roll just I'll just roll the Pathos die. And this does not generate any glory because this is not a great feat, but you will tend to each other's wounds. So no particular starts. Let's start with Hognai, since you are in the worst shape, at least from the narrative.
Yeah.
Who will you choose to tend to you?
So what is the relevant skill? Is it just?
It's going to be however they describe their action.
Okay.
Usually craft and reason if it's like medical aid.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it could be.
But it could be like, come on, get up, be strong, and it could be resolve in spirit by bolstering you.
Got you. And it has to be someone else, obviously.
Yeah, it has to be one of the other heroes.
I think
It doesn't have to be one of the other heroes. It can be any character. But
yeah,
usually the heroes are better at this. So
yeah.
I think Hognai observed this whole feather thing, and while chaste for religious reasons, she's not a dummy and doesn't want to walk in on any weird Adrastos business, so she goes to Marika. Helpless.
Do what now? What am I doing?
I have this hole in my heart, literally,
Oh.
and if you could fix this,
And you just fell in place.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
That looks pretty bad.
It's fine. I threw some villagers around, and I feel better emotionally, but physically, it's still a problem.
Hmm.
Your metaphorical hole in your heart has been healed, but not the literal
Yes.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. So how would Marika tend to Hagne?
Oh God. I mean, Mark is very much a awkward pat on the shoulder, there type of person.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So how does
I mean, I'm thinking of like
how does that
bully or
work?
I mean, you describe your action, and we'll figure out what domain it falls under. Again,
Okay.
like John said, most of the time, if you're doing any kind of medical work yourself, it's probably craft and reason. But you know, we know that Marika is war leader. Marika, like if you wanted to be like, all the best healers of the city, come and tend to my wounded companion, you could command people to do it too. That would be
Yeah, yeah.
that's
I don't do this. I have staff, I have people normally
Yeah.
take care of this on the
Yeah.
battlefield. So
Awesome.
yeah, I will call for a medic.
Yeah. Do you look to your sailors or do you look to the people from the island?
I look to the people from the island.
Okay.
That's just right. We defended you, so help us heal, right?
Get the gauze and Bactine, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So so Melatia comes forward with a young-ish looking boy. I mean, he looks like he's a teenager. But she says that he is gifted with the healer's arts and that he knows how to tend to wounds, and he has these various salves and bandages and tinctures and gives you something truly awful to drink. Okay, and then gets to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll Hogne's pathos, which is currently D12. Is that correct? Is that correct, Naja?
Yes.
Cool. So, and then Karen, you're going to have to beat this.
Okay.
A 1 on the D12. Nice.
Cool.
It's like
cool.
a little hole in my heart. It's not like a problem, but
Yeah.
Nice.
So
that's lucky.
Yeah. So, I mean, especially considering there's no glory in this particular role, this is a pretty good setup. Even though you don't need it, it makes total sense to me for you to roll Defender of Cryos as an advantage die, because you're literally calling on your reputation as the Defender of Cryos and saying, like, I did this for you, you should help me with that. And I would say that, you know, the quality of their healers is D8. Not that, again, you need it, but it makes a lot of sense for you to roll it if you wanted to.
And that would get me a D8.
Yeah, we get you a D8 in addition to everything else you would do. You know, advantages. When you call in an advantage, it's just an extra die. No cost to you.
How many times can we roll Defender of Cryos? As long as we're on this island?
Applicable. Yeah. I mean, whenever it's applicable and as long as you have it. You know, you could lose it. They could decide that you aren't their defenders anymore. But yeah.
Okay. So I'll roll my name die. Maybe resolve and spirit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
And then authority.
Yep.
And then the
Defender of Cryos.
The Defender of Cryos.
Right.
Okay. 7.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. So you succeed. So Nadja, Hogne clears all of her pathos.
Yay.
And Marika, you write down that Hogne owes you an oath.
Awesome.
And just to check, I owe you 2 now? Lovely.
Yeah. All right. How about Drastos?
Yeah. Well, after the wrestling match, my new boyfriend gave me a present.
Mhm.
So I'm going to summon Ionestes to my tent for the evening.
Mm.
And I would like to I would mostly like to spend the evening in repose with Ionestes. And I think perhaps I can call on Marika's war leadership to have maybe a scented bath brought to my tent by the people with rose petals and such, and we can
Sure, yes.
we can
Some bath with oils and things,
excellent,
as one does.
Cool.
There's a
nice,
lot of oil involved in this culture.
yeah. So I will.
There's a lot of oil. For yeah.
It's just
Lots
a
of
never-ending flow of oil.
right. Well, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm calling on Marika as aid to be my healer, but I want her to like set up a sexy bath scene in my tent for me and my new boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's really the point of what's going on here. Yeah, so we'll bathe and re-oil and then spend the evening together admiring the feather and whatnot.
Okay, I'm trying to that emotion. Jesus. Whoa. I am taken aback. I'm gonna ask this just because I should. John, your Adrastus's Pathos die is D12. Right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It has been for so long I don't remember what it's like.
Yeah, let's see how hard it is to heal his wounds.
Yes. The GM's dice are cold, finally.
The GM's dice are very cold. All right, so Karen, I think you can roll any kind of you can roll the same pool as you did before if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Also add in, if you want to, Ionestes name die, which is D8.
Yeah.
Yes,
sure.
I was angling for that. Yes, thank you, Sean.
Right.
I would like
Okay.
Ionestes.
Effectively, because you can only add in it. Well, no, you can add them both in. Ionestes is you're not. It's not another advantage die. It's a name die of the character that's helping. So, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's an 8.
Right. So, there's much care taken and given to tending to you, Adrastos. And we can put as much or as little of this on the screen as you want, but Ionestes is very much hoping to be intimate and have relations of sexual nature with Adrastos. Is that Adrastos' intent as well, or do you kind of like tease it like this is going to be a nice time, but we're gonna maybe tease isn't the right word. Like desire and intent.
It depends on the vibe. Is the vibe this dude is overwhelmed by the beauty and glory of a great hero? Or is the vibe like he's actually into me for real? Because if it's the former, yeah, fine, we can have sex. If it's the latter, I don't want any kind of serious island relationship happening here. So it'll just be.
I mean, it's a little a column A, a little a column B.
Okay,
right?
well, I'll take my chances then.
If it's definitely the former for sure.
Yeah.
And the latter may come as a result of your choices here.
All right. Well, if it, then it's on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. So, wonderful. And Marika,
just for people at home, I have my character sheet up here. In the middle of the sheet here is the Pathos tracker, and I had been beaten up all the way up to Agony, D12. But because Karen won the roll, instead of clearing some of my Agony, I get to clear all of it. So even if she'd failed, I would get to clear a little bit, but she is the great war leader and attended to my bath needs. So, boom. All my pathos.
There goes all that pathos.
All healed.
So Adrastos is, misfortune coming to him is delayed.
And now I owe Marika and Oath. So, because you took care of my
Sweet.
special date night.
I need people to write more in chat so that I don't keep looking at this emote.
It's gonna stay there all night.
It's too strong. Okay. Finally, Marika, you were a great wrestler and you defeated all who challenged you, including Hogne and Adrastos. You fought the Harpies and were mightily battered by them, but you yourself are weary from it. What's Marika's pathos die right now?
I'm at agony.
Okay, D12, right. So who will you call on to tend to your wounds?
Hang on. Everything just stopped for a second. I didn't hear you. What?
No problem. Who will you call on to tend to your wounds?
Hogne, because Adrastos is busy.
Fair.
Getting busy.
It's true.
Yep.
Yeah,
Don't
Hogne, you feel like life is good. Like, you don't know what this kid gave you, but you're like, I'm on top of the world right now. You're like,
Yeah.
nothing can stop me now. Give me 3 Harpies, I'll take them all. It's not sure if it's what he rubbed into you or what he made you drink or like the smelling salt, the scents he made you smell. You don't know. It was a lot.
Yeah, I'm on that good.
You are lit. So yeah, how will you tend to Marika's bruises and cuts and scrapes?
So I think Hogne is no slouch in patching up wounds herself. So I think Hogne will do it herself, and will take a very extensive inventory of all of your scrapes and bruises, and will apply the whatever leftover salves that were used on her. She's like, no, this is good shit. It's fine. I'll take care of you, and we'll apply just enough, to each wound, and tend to you that way.
Nice.
That sounds like some craft and reason to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll my D12 for Marika's pathos.
2. Oh man, we are.
Wow. Okay. I mean,
we are getting so lucky.
This is the role you want me to be bombing because there's no glory at stake, and so wow, yeah, y'all are just really good healers.
So yeah, name at D6, craft and reason at D8, and precision at D8.
Cool.
Yeah,
blows it up.
That's an
Awesome.
8.
So, Marika, you can remove all of your pathos.
Yay!
And Hogne, you can add that Marika owes you an oath.
Lovely. I have 3.
Oh geez.
Man, call them.
I have 3 with Marika.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Marika's so dependable.
It's true. I mean, she is the war leader. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Mom.
Okay. So night passes. During the festivities, Melatia makes several more appearances in your various tents. Not Adrastos' tent; she's leaving that one alone. But to make sure that you've been taken care of, and she does 2 things. So she's had 2 people, or she's had some of the islanders run and they fetch your breastplate, Hogne. They've pulled it out of the sea, and you see that with a blacksmith, or not even with a jeweler's precision, they've buffed the hell out of it. So they've cleaned they spent the whole day while you were wrestling and doing all this stuff. They've cleaned every bit of gunk that had gotten into it, and they've put their special polish on it, and it's just glimmering. These three silver rolls are just glowing in the moonlight right now.
Yay.
Um,
My three
so-
wolf moon.
I wasn't gonna say it.
And they've replaced leather straps that were torn by the harpies. So it's in perfect condition. I mean, it's still dent and battered for whatever wounds taken, but they restore it as much as possible, and just gleams. And similarly, Marika, as she brought this sort of young boy that was like the best healer of the island, she also brings this sort of like hunched over, hunchback, like very wizened but like still super capable looking woman. Like she moves stiffly, and she has spectacles. She has spectacles to aid with her vision, and she brings you a talisman that she is crafted, and it's this golden necklace that she has crafted for Marika, and it shows this depiction of like a sword cutting up through like two claws that are trying to grab it, and like the sword kind of stabs up through the two claws. And she introduces this woman as the finest goldsmith on the island, and as being an island renowned for gold, she's it's so incredible. So again, it's thanks for defending their island.
Sweet. Do I write that down on like trophies?
Yeah, you can write that as trophies. Yeah.
Okay. How did you describe it again?
I described it as a golden talisman. You can, and if you want more detail, it's two harpy claws trying to clutch a sword.
Cool.
I would tell you the name of the smith, but she is not a hero, and it will not be remembered.
Doesn't matter.
I already forgot it.
Yep. I did actually tell it to you, and you just forgot. Same thing with you, Kat. You've all forgot it. And you as well. All right. So night passes, and in the morning, the hero with the most glory, which I think is Adrastos,
Yup.
will lead a sacrifice to their god. Now, this is an interesting time where one of you could be like, those oaths that you owe me, Adrastos, I'm going to call one of those in so that you have to make sacrifice to my god instead. You don't have to, but if it's important to you that a sacrifice be made to your god, this is a great time to spend an oath.
Yes, and this is a chance for heroes who want to. You can change your favored god. So if you wanted to, either in doing a sacrifice to, let's say, Hermes, you might be like, you know what? Yeah, Hermes, I'm gonna go with him for right now. It doesn't have to be the god that's being sacrificed to. You could just decide that you are seeking a different god's favor. But we have a chance to change up our favored god, and that will also change. Like, one of your strengths comes from your favorite god, so that will actually let you.
Now, I think right now, John, we have that in there in the end of Island. Or is that? No, we have epithets. Never mind.
Yeah, that's different.
I think we need to add that into the text. I don't think that's in the current text right now.
It's on the character sheet. Maybe it's not in the book yet. I feel like it may. Well, whatever. It's a thing you can do.
It's fine. It's not wrong. I just want to make sure we account for it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna add that in my list of things to add.
So I'm gonna lead a sacrifice to. I'm gonna decide if I'm changing up before I do the sacrifice, because I might be. Here's kind of what I'm picturing. So you saw Ionestes, the potentially like secretly disgraced priest of Hera, because we know that he was like kind of in league with the pirate queen, but the people don't know that.
Yeah.
And we sort of shamed him into helping us and protecting Hera's bird and all this stuff. And then you saw him creep into Adrastos' tent in the night and present him this gift of Hera's feather, peacock feather. I think I'm gonna go. I think that's the direction I'm going. It's the morning sacrifice. Everyone's out on the beach. The sun is rising, and instead of the normal supplications to Hermes, Adrastos is gonna dedicate the morning sacrifice to Hera. So yeah, I'm changing it up. Going Hera.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So that's the sort of intent is that we'll make a sacrifice to Hera. There's a whole temple of Hera here. There's there are all of the sort of accoutrements that would go along with a sacrifice to Hera. However, if Hogne is like, no, Artemis all the way, or somebody else wants to change their favorite god, or somebody else wants to keep their favorite god but still make a sacrifice to a different god because you think a different god would grant you a better favor in this case, someone can call in an oath to change that. Otherwise, you'll be making a sacrifice to Hera.
I am good with Hera.
Hera's good. All right. So that means my daring is now D8 because I'm no longer doubled up. And my cunning is a D8.
Cool. So I'm gonna roll the GM die plus roll the island die plus the strife die plus a D12. This is the god die to see if you make a sacrifice that's worthy of the gods. And I'll try to use the right syntax.
Yeah, there's no space at the end. Yeah, you got it. Oh, just a 10, huh?
Apparently, the gods are fickle.
Well, I will not be beating that. I have D6 on this roll. Oh, so I didn't say exactly for you to say the domain, Sean, but I think this is a traditional priestly ritual. So I'm singing the song of Hera or whatever, and we're playing music and lighting incense and burning a calf and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So we'll call this resolve in spirit. I think that's what all of those come under.
Yeah, it's like it's a priestly ritual of spiritual nature.
Yeah, showing your supplication.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, there is all right. So
I got a 5.
I think you do not gain Hera's favor. However, you step through all of the.
Everyone gets to roll in this, though, not just me.
So. Yeah. Everyone gets to roll in this. Sorry. Yeah. In fact, let's everybody roll. I won't describe each roll. So yeah, everyone else can make their. You'll roll your name and resolve in spirit, and again, you can bring in any strengths that you feel like are appropriate.
Cool.
Okay.
Resolve in spirit.
Resolve in spirit. I think in my song I weave in some subtle allusions to us defending not only her peacock but her priest. And so really, if she was going to be not capricious, she would give us her favor. And I'm going to tag in my cunning.
Nice.
Yeah. That's good.
Guilt the god into it.
Guilt the god.
Not good enough, but
I played we played a game of Agon a long time ago where we had sort of 2 games going at once, and the gods were watching the heroes, and the heroes are playing Agon, and the gods are playing a sort of a cobbled together system that we made at like Primetime Adventures. And the gods were constantly like, heroes, just do my thing. And I'd be typing to the other GM, like, oh, the gods want this, gods want that. And I'm just imagining right now, like the gods looking down, like, what are they doing? They're wrestling, they're having sex with my priest. Yeah. Now in the morning you pray to me. Where was your praise to me yesterday when I told you what to do? And you screwed around with the harpies. So yes. So let's see how that goes. It goes
Oh wait, I didn't roll.
not well enough. Yeah, no. Um,
Should I do that now?
Yes.
What's
Okay.
how will your sacrifice look?
How will I what? Sorry.
Yeah. What is? I mean, Marika has Hera as her favorite god, so you know all the ways. You know all the formal traditions and whatnot.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw in the strength of cunning, which is Hera's strength, and because I know how to flatter Hera a little bit and say the right things, and will be kind of strategic in my flattery and praise. I got 7.
All right. So none of those are enough to gain her oath.
Damn it.
Yeah. So if somebody actually wins against the god die, you get an oath from that god that you can call on later. But we did not.
Yeah. However, you have shown the proper forms, and because you have done so, the gods as a whole, the pantheon sort of recognizes that you observe them, and that you do things in their name, and so your divine favor is restored.
Yes. So chat, you'll see over here on the left, column divine favor. I've used it all up, but since we did our sacrifice, it gets restored again. So I will unmark all of the ticks. We're all fresh and ready to once again rely on divine intervention to protect us.
Yeah. I think we will just pick up. I think we're gonna take a break in a second, but before we do, we will see how all of the incense is burnt and songs are sung. And when you're going to reach like the crescendo of the song, like that Hera would hear you the most, a horrible bolt of lightning cracks down, and Zeus interrupts,
Damn it.
and it like drowns you all out. Right. And so this beautiful song is instead not heard by Hera because someone waves their lightning bolts around, and it's all muffled, and the peacock is startled by this blowing thing, and it just bolts and just flies into the air. And we see everyone who knows that this is Hera's bird, they don't completely lose their shit because they know you're there, but you look down at the island and down below and you see everybody pointing, and that bird just goes flying off the island. The last remnants of Hera's protection are gone, and the storms continue to rage around you, and that's the strife increasing on this island. And yeah, you're minus a bird because Ionestes was a little preoccupied.
I can't turn it off. You know what I'm saying?
So cool. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll figure out what the heroes do after their interlude.
All right, be back in a bit.
Cool.